Anna, I am so glad that you're joining us for this episode. Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, and your homeschool?
Yeah. Okay. So I am a second generation homeschooler, which I think you are as well.
Yes.
And we are in our 15th year of homeschooling our six children. Actually, I'll take that back. We graduated our two oldest a year ago. So we just have four right now. And let's see, our children's ages are 19, 18, 15, 10, 7, and 3. So a huge, wide age range. And yeah, that's just a little bit about us.
And tell me a little bit about your style of homeschool.
Okay, so it goes a little bit like this. We are eclectic wonder schoolers. I like to have a little bit of structure with our homeschool. I want to have a little bit of a framework, something that I can go off of. So I like to kind of pick and choose curriculum based on the season that we're in. So I'm eclectic in that way. I'm finding publishers here and there and kind of creating my own, but I leave space in our day to go down rabbit trails of wonder. So I kind of use our curriculum, kind of lightly cover what the curriculum has laid out for us. And then I leave enough space for my children to wonder how something works or wonder who this person is and give space to look some more into that. It's kind of interest led in that way.
One of the things I encourage people when they're planning their homeschool is to make sure there's white space in the homeschool plan. It's really easy for us to try to plan out to the very edges of our homeschool day. And, one of the reasons why white space is so valuable, of course, is that it keeps mom from getting completely overwhelmed and exhausted and go, 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 always feeling behind. But like you were just saying, it also leaves like space and time to just explore and have curiosity and kind of go off on a little rabbit trail that wouldn't fit in to your day if you had it planned to the minute. So,
Yeah, and since I had to learn that. That didn't come naturally, but since I have learned that they know that they can ask the questions. I'm not just trying to get through the lesson. We want to give that opportunity to learn and to learn more about what we're talking about. So they can't wait to be like, oh, can we go back to that? Can we look that up now? So it's really instilling in them that love of learning and and different ways that we can research different things. So that did not come naturally to me, but it's something that has really um, allowed us to not only get those lessons in, right? Because we want to get those in, but to also allow that interest led aspect to work as well.
I love that. Well, Anna, what have been some of the challenges that you have faced in your homeschool, and how have you sought to overcome those?
This is a great question. So and I don't think I'm alone in this, but I have felt inadequate to teach my children. I didn't get a degree. I didn't even go to college at all. And so I've kind of had this negative playlist in my head that I may just not be adequate to teach my children. So when those lies start circling in my head, I always go back to scripture. And in scripture, it tells the parents that they are to train their children up in the way they should go. And they are to teach God's truth when they rise up and when they walk along the way and when they lie down. And those are commands for the parents. The public school has never given those commands. So I have confidence that God has called me to homeschool, and I am more than adequate to homeschool my children. But there are subjects that I don't feel comfortable teaching, and that's okay. I've learned that even though I might not feel comfortable teaching that subject, I, as the homeschool parent, can find someone else to teach that subject. Maybe someone loves teaching a specific subject that I don't feel comfortable in, and that's okay. That's not a failure on my end. I don't have to teach all the things. So with these subjects that I don't feel comfortable teaching, I can outsource them. We have used co-ops, we have used online classes, we have used single subject classes. My husband has taught several classes. Grandparents can teach classes as well. So there are so many options out there if you truly feel like, somebody else could do that better. And that's 100% okay. And that's something I've kind of learned in our 15 years of homeschooling, that I, as the parent, um, have the ability and authority and full confidence I can outsource what I need to outsource. I'm fully capable of teaching my children 100% adequate, but if there's maybe something I'll feel comfortable with, it's okay to outsource it.
And with outsourcing too, if you have someone who is passionate about a subject that maybe you secretly don't care for as much, it
Yeah.
gives your children a chance to learn from someone who can kind of communicate that passion for the subject.
I agree with that. So that would be writing. That's a writing class for us. And all through high school, our children have those single subject classes where they've got a 50-minute class with somebody that loves to teach writing, and they are getting instruction from someone else. And by that age, they are completely communicating back and forth through email, and face-to-face conversations with somebody else. And it's wonderful for so many reasons, like you pointed out.
Yeah, I'll actually put in the show notes. So if you guys are listening or watching, check the show notes. I will put in a link I have to how to know when to outsource writing in your homeschool. And then another resource, which I have learned some of these rules the hard way, but some tips for equipping your children to take online classes successfully, because it's like a whole different skill set to learn for sure. Well, Anna, what are you most excited about being a part of Made to Homeschool?
This feels like a trick question because you said what am I most excited about? I'm excited about so much, but I narrowed it down to the face-to-face interaction like we're having right here, because we are offering workshops where creators get the opportunity to have face-to-face interaction with other homeschoolers from all over the entire world. And that is one thing that I see missing with the YouTube platform. Is what happens is we kind of create a topic that we want to cover, and that's good and all, maybe for several people that are looking for that specific topic. But I know so often that kind of brings up more questions for homeschoolers because their situation may be a little different than mine, and I maybe only covered it from my perspective. And so I think there are so many questions, specific questions that homeschoolers are going to have based on the dynamics in their home, that get to be brought up in these workshops. We get to kind of hash all that out, and we each get the opportunity to kind of get clarity on what somebody was meaning, or kind of be able to go down rabbit trails of like, okay, you mentioned this, but this is my situation. What would you do in a situation like that? And the Made to Homeschool platform is going to foster that communication back and forth, whereas I don't see that anywhere else. So I think that is what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, so often we're used to watching a workshop online or reading a blog post, listening to a podcast episodes, and we have these questions. We're like, wait a minute, I need to ask you about that thing you just said. And normally we don't, but here in Made to Homeschool, we'll be able to go on there and after the workshop's over, like ask the questions by video or text if you're nervous. And I love that there'll really be a back and forth community aspect.
Yes.
Well, even though I'm just doing little short snippet interviews for this episode, I have to ask everyone the questions that I ask all of my guests. And the first is just, what are you personally reading lately?
I'm excited. I brought the book because I'm super excited to show you. I am reading M is for Mama by Abby Halberstadt. And I've heard amazing things about it, and it is so amazing. I'm about halfway through, and at the end, she's got actual steps that you can implement. She's got scripture. She's helping you kind of rewrite the narrative in your mind, and it's just packed full of scripture and that step-by-step actionable steps to have that professional mom mindset. So they're really enjoying it.
I follow Abby on Instagram, but I haven't read the book, but it has looked like it would be a wonderful encouragement. I love the way she always talks about things. Just because they're hard doesn't mean that they're bad, and just the difference there. So, yeah. And then finally is, what would be your best tip for helping the homeschool day run smoothly?
Okay, I've got a recipe for that, and I'm just going to kind of run over it super quick. So it's got 3 ingredients, and the first one is evaluate. Often. The dynamics in our home is always changing, ever changing, season to season, year to year. And And evaluating kind of looks like, what are my commitments right now? What are my responsibilities? What circumstances are we in? What am I holding? And just kind of having an awareness of the plates that we're spinning. And the second ingredient is dream. What do you want the atmosphere to look like in your home? What do you want your kids to say about their childhood? And this is just kind of where you get to kind of have some vision of the atmosphere in your home. And then the third ingredient is, this is where you're going to make an action plan. So if I have a really good idea about so for the atmosphere in my home, I want to be present, and I don't want things to be so rigorous that I can't be present and we can't enjoy homeschool family life. So knowing that tells me, it kind of gives me a good idea of the type of curriculum that I want to use and the flow that we want to have to our day. And it also helps me know what plates to keep spinning, because if I want to be a present mom, do I keep spinning and do I keep committing over here, or do I need to let that one drop so that I can carry out the vision and the dream for my homeschool? So the three ingredients would be evaluate, dream, and then thrive.
Oh, that is such a great tip. And I know that that will be an encouragement to the moms who are listening. Anna, where can people find you all around the internet?
All right. So you can find me on YouTube and Instagram, Facebook, and it's at Just Making It Work with Anna Jill.
Perfect. And I will have those links in the show notes, and I will see you inside Made Homeschool Community.